As I embark on my journey into clinical nutrition, I find myself often reflecting on my own nutritional evolution. After reading a 2020 study regarding the food choices of low-income women conducted by Palmer et al., I thought back to a time in my life when the food choices of my family were dictated by my access to affordable foods. Food security is something many of us can relate to, or at least understand in some capacity. In the world of nutrition, food security is a topic we will be faced with at least by some of our clients. I found myself grateful for this study because it highlighted how knowledge of and access to healthy foods are two separate issues. It's not enough to simply educate populations on healthy foods when those foods aren't necessarily accessible. I have found that accessibility has many factors. While presence of and access to healthy foods is what many often think of when accessibility is brought up, there are many other factors. The study found that time to cook meals, cost, family food preferences are all significant factors in accessibility to healthy meals. From my personal experience, I found that self-efficacy was also a factor in creating affordable and healthy meals. Palmer et al. Stated, quote, "Several women in the study were hesitant to follow through on dietary advice from healthcare professionals like registered dietitians and physicians because they perceived the recommendations were not achievable," end quote. It also stated that many of these women had knowledge of healthy foods, but struggled to incorporate them. I've noticed this in many past patients of mine, and even in myself. Many of my pre-existing beliefs had hindered me from potential. I found myself often dismissing foods because I doubted my ability to cook with them or underestimated their nutrition value. And as I began my journey into nutrition, I began to learn what was possible and began building self-efficacy. And this is a recipe that I am trying for the first time. And I adapted this recipe from the classic chicken noodle soup recipe. And I chose this because it can be made with minimal time and effort and can be frozen or used for meal prep. And I found that you can substitute pretty much any of the ingredients to use whatever you prefer or whatever you have on hand, like fresh, frozen, or canned. And I chose to mix frozen and fresh veggies because that's what I had, but all frozen or pre-chopped veggies even can be used. You could even substitute like rotisserie chicken if time's a concern. And I had fun customizing this, and I'm excited to try it. In our house, we tend to eat a lot of pasta or sautéed foods, so adding this recipe to my repertoire will help us incorporate some variety while still remaining cost and time effective. I found that by making meals with leftovers that can be frozen, I saved significantly on buying pre-made foods or takeout. So I hope you enjoy this recipe and that this inspires you to build confidence and embark on your own nutritional journey. The recipe and the references to the study are both included in the show notes. And again, anything ingredient-wise can be customized to your own taste or what you have time for, what you have on hand. In this recipe, I used a beer to add more flavor. It'll cook off in an open stovetop, but if not, water or extra chicken broth is just fine. I hope you enjoy.